All right, welcome back. Our GMC Sierra tweet of the night from the Sporting News. Check this out. Ohtani, what a day. He had doubleheader today. 110 starts game one as a starting pitcher. 220 gave up his only hit as a pitcher in this game. A complete game shutout at 326. 410, second game, Angels doubleheader. He hits one home run at 445, and then an hour later hits his second and 38th of the season. And Chris, he's been taken off the trade market, which means Anaheim, I guess, trying to win now. They made a trade that I thought was a curious one with Lucas Giolito coming over from the White Sox. He gave up two prospects to get him. So instead of keeping those two and adding what would have been a bevy, if you trade Ohtani, he's instead, and I'm talking about their owner over there, he's instead keeping them all together. And I don't know if this is the right move for the Anaheim Angels, although this is a great story with Ohtani.
I mean, if Ohtani single-handedly wills them to a playoff berth because he just basically goes wild, I guess the rumor is he really wanted to stay with the Angels for the rest of the season. So if you cede to his wishes and then he wills you to the playoffs, that's a pretty great story in and of itself. It also might end up in a chase for 60-plus home runs again, because as you're well aware, I am very convinced, because there's evidence they did it once already with Aaron Judge, that Major League Baseball is going to be sending really lively balls wherever Shohei Ohtani goes down the stretch here. So bet the over on these run totals.
It's quite a day, though, he had. I've never seen anything like it. You know, a complete game shutout and then two home runs in the second game of the doubleheader. So that will be something to watch. And where he ends up after the season is going to be the big question in the offseason of baseball. Let's get right to the lines. We begin with Martin in Plumboro. What's up, Martin? How are you?
I am really ticked off at the Pirates. Santana was my favorite Pirate. He was the most consistent Pirate. And they gave him up for some 18-year-old kid we don't know about too well. And he brought leadership to the clubhouse. And I've been snake bit too many times, and I'm too tired of this down the road stuff.
Martin, I don't mean to sound jaded, and I liked watching him too, and he was really good on defense. You couldn't possibly have thought that Carlos Santana, once this team started to go into a free fall, was going to be a Pirate any time past August 1st. You really didn't think he was going to be there the whole year once they started to play poorly, did you?
I'm sure maybe he did. He's no longer on the line, but there's no way that was going to happen. He was here for one of two reasons. If they had been competitive and they were in a playoff position, I don't think you would have seen a trade. So they would have gotten pretty good bang for their buck. Now that they aren't, he, Rich Hill, and others will be traded because that's plan B whenever this happens. The next question, Chris, will be what happens with David Bednar and Mitch Keller, because according to John Heyman, they're not being shopped, but the Pirates are listening, which means they should listen. They should listen to everything. But do you foresee a trade for either of those two?
You know, John Heyman also tweeted today, Bob, that they're getting called on repeatedly about those guys, as well as Colin Holderman, and I cannot remember. I think it might have been Rich Hill, actually, that they were also getting aggressive calls on. I'd be pretty surprised, even though there's been a lot of smoke around this and a lot of rumor mongering. I will be pretty surprised if they trade Bednar, and really surprised if they trade Keller, because I still believe they think Keller is a frontline guy they can pair with Skeens. I think there's a chance that could still be true. And in Bednar's case, I think they'd have to be bowled over by an offer, because I do think they are acutely aware of what a PR hit that would be. Not only trading a local guy, but sort of signaling to your fan base, hey, we're actually not as close as we think to contending, and this is a small sign that that's the case.
I wonder this, though. You look now at, with no Santana, they have Choi, and I don't think he'll be around next year. Who's going to play first base? Now, and I asked that because...
He might not be around next week, Bob.
Right, but
Choi
my
might not
question
be around
is...
like this time next week.
Severino is one of many shortstops they have. Tamar Johnson is a guy like that. Peguero, O'Neal Cruz. They all can't play there. Somebody's got to play first base. Could it be O'Neal Cruz? Could it be Henry Davis? Could it be Andy Rodriguez? What happens?
I mean, O'Neal Cruz, because he's so tall, is the guy you would assume is the natural fit, right? And he's a good athlete, but so much of his value is tied up in him remaining at shortstop. I think they should try to see if he can play that once he's back from this fractured ankle and fully healthy. They have to at least test to see if the mobility's still there. Henry Davis, he's proven to me, at least so far, Bob, I don't know about you, I feel like the jury has already come back with a verdict, and that it's that he can't play right field. He just does not look cut out for the outfield. He frankly doesn't look athletic enough and light enough on his feet. I'd be inclined to try him. I mean, Carlos Santana, to speak of him, he was a catcher when he came up. We see a lot of catchers end up at first base. That's probably the logical guy I would put there, because then his bat plays a little bit more logically. If he can handle first defensively and hit 30 home runs, that doesn't make you feel so bad that you took him #1 overall and couldn't find him a position.
That's why I mentioned it. I think he could be a logical choice out there based on what I've seen from the outfield. We'll see what they do, but I still think, Andy Rodriguez looks very comfortable behind the plate, and he looks like he's in charge. He's an aggressive kid. He's got a good arm. A couple of throwouts already this week, so it's going to be fun to see him play. Let's go to Jimmy in Point Breeze. Jimmy, you're on this nightly sports call brought to you by Ireland Contracting. What's up? Jimmy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so one of the things I have a question and a comment. I think we are not focused enough on being left-handed. We aren't focused enough on having left-handed hitters and left-handed pitchers. And when you're playing at PNC Park, that favors the left-handers. And so we're not getting guys that can really take advantage of that. And so I wanted to.
Their best power hitter is a left-handed hitter who's got 21
and
home
Reynolds.
runs.
Yeah, Sawinski's.
Yeah, well, we've got one, and we got a shortstop who's injured who could also do that.
And you put Reynolds, that would be 3.
Everyone's right-handed.
Well, I mean, you take the best players you can play. I mean, you like to have a nice mix of them, but Sawinski's going to hit a lot of home runs there. Reynolds, hopefully he'll get at bat back. O'Neal Cruz can do that. I don't worry so much about that. I just want players who can play. And not only that, I think Jack Sawinski has earned the right to play more against left-handers. And quite frankly, if this year is all about trying to figure this out, Chris, he should play every day right now.
I agree with that. He's had enough success that I don't think failing or flailing against lefties, if that were to happen, would break his confidence. Also, they had a right-handed hitter who won MVP I guess it's 10 years ago now. I don't think playing at PNC Park just absolutely nuked Andrew McCutchen's offensive stats and put him, below the Mendoza line. I actually think there's something to the idea that certain left-handed pitchers can really benefit from that big yawning left field where, home runs in other parks turn into flyouts, Bob. But otherwise, give me the best 9 hitters you can put in the lineup. I don't care if they bat lefty, bat righty, or stand directly on top of home plate and create a new side to bat from.
We got to take a break. Back with more right after this. It's Pittsburgh CW. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, simulcast on 93.7 The Fan.